Hello everyone, this is Todd with Copy Flight. I am here with another About Page Teardown, and this one is for January Creative. Amber Lee Turner, located in Nashville, Texas. So I'm going to take a look at her About Page and see what we can learn, maybe where I see some areas of improvement. Remember, when I do one of these, I usually ask one of 6 questions, and let me go over those one more time before I get started, and I'll drop them in the description below of the video and on YouTube. Number 1, what does your headline say? What I'm looking for is a value proposition. 2, do you pinpoint my pain as a person reading your web page? 3, can I find or can I see a future better self? 4, is your company credible? Is there social proof? Gives credibility enhancers. 5, do you have a story to tell? And 6, do you call me to action? So let's start with the headline. Your headline is pretty generic, about January Creative LLC, which is standard. A lot of people use for their headline. So I would like to see, of course, it is an about page, so it's not entirely a bad thing to have. But if you are able to have a unique value proposition there, being that you're a designer, you're solving branding issues, creating a value proposition to put up there as a headline, as an attention getter. Remember, when someone comes to your page, whether it's an about page or home page, you have experts in UX like to say 5 seconds to get their attention. I tend to say 3, just kind of to grab the urgency. You have anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds to get the attention of your target audience. And so about having a headline there that says exactly who you are, what you do, and who you do it for is a great way for somebody to know they should keep reading. This subheadline is a very good summary of who you are and where you are, and I think it's fine. It would definitely be a good supplement to a good about page headline. So I would like to see, I think that having a value prop, fleshing that out on your about page would be a good thing to have. You have this little couple paragraphs here about working with clients in the past decade. You give a little bit of credibility with that. And you reference your bio below. We'll get to that. I like this really cool picture of you. It looks like in a garden. It's very positive and very sunshiny, and so I have no issues with that. Now, first of all, before I move on, I wanted to say this, Amber. I really like your design. It's very simple and clean, and it definitely showcases that you are a designer. I'm always amazed that someone thinks about using different font for their headlines. I've seen some other people do that. I think it looks cool. The only thing is, can I read that in 3 to 5 seconds? Does my mind comprehend that is what you're saying? So it may be more of a preference. So, but I tend to want to see a more simple font for a headline, because someone's trying to read it pretty quickly. But I do think it's cool, and I think it's cool that you're able to do that. I don't know what font that is. I'm not up on the fonts very well, but at the same time, I like your logo. It's simple. It just really not much I can say about that. I think that's good. It's not really what I'm focusing on, but I did want to make mention that I like how you design your page. I think it's very good. You have a little section here just below the hero area that testimonials, and you do the slider thing, which a lot of people do for testimonials, and I'm not necessarily against sliders. I think this is something I think is better is when you do a 2 or 3 column with the testimonials. That way people can see them all at once. I will say that this is good because it does not automatically slide. So if I'm reading this, I'll read it all the way to the end without having to worry about it sliding. So that much I do like. I don't know how many people will know that they should click the little button below the nav buttons. They may, and that would be an interesting thing to run as a test if you were using user testing to see if people understand what's going on here. So I usually recommend that people use at least 3 testimonials because you can do a 3-column layout and put them all in there without any kind of sliding or navigating and moving the page. And so I usually save your 3 strongest testimonials. Mostly I would go testimonials that talk about improvements in business based on what you have done for the customer. You have another title here about Amberly Turner. I think this is your bio section. So this is a typical bio in the sense that it's kind of chronological. My recommendations is for some of the chronological events, you actually do bullets, and then you build a more of a narrative around how your career has gone up until now. I think it's interesting that you basically started your design career while you're still in college. I don't think a lot of students do that. That's an interesting part of your story. That you've actually written a book. I think that's an interesting part of your story. And then you have these things that I think makes you a human to your reader. Working with NWS Nashville, Twitter chat coordinator, some of the other things you do here. I like the sentence right here. You enjoy candle making hobby as a way to relax while also participating in roughly a dozen craft shows. I think that's very interesting. I always think it's cool when someone talks about something they do away from their business life, which is one of the reasons I say I like dirt track racing and pro wrestling. It tells you something about me that's not exactly copywriting related. But I think when I talk about doing a story on your page, I talk about I want to see a story arc to some degree because that's what we relate to. A beginning, a middle, and an ending. Mostly with the middle, maybe overcoming some hardship or adversity. For instance, why did you start part-time as a freelancing while you were in school? Did you need money? Was it a necessity? That would be interesting to me, I think, as a human. So, but you do have a story to tell. I think that it could be told a little differently. And some of the highlights of your career, if you will, be put into bullet points. But I'm sure this was probably written for more than one thing. And I don't think overall there's anything wrong with the bio. I would like to see more of a story put in there with the kind of a story arc. So the second question that I ask is, do you pinpoint my pain? That is something I do not see. I do not see that you are talking about, because you start off with this little brief summary, then you have testimonials, and then you go into your bio. So if I'm a business owner, I likely have a problem that I'm coming to you for. Maybe it's I need branding, I need better design, there's some reason I'm coming to you, and you have enough customers that by now you probably have a good understanding of common denominator of why people are coming to you. If you could hone in on the kind of problems you solve for your clients, and pinpoint the problem and how things look better with you solving that problem, which is the next question. Can I see a future better self? Imagine a brand that you're proud of. Imagine a brand that you are thrilled to share with your customers. Imagine a brand that makes you look more authentic, something along that line. So the pinpointing your pain and showing what it's like with something better because they use your services. Those two things should be added in there, in my opinion. You do a good job with credibility because you have these testimonials. I like the fact that you actually have written the book, and you do have some, some other experience with the Twitter coordinating and so forth, or actually National Weather Service spotter. Okay, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. But one thing I noticed when looking through your bio is right here, you have written some articles at the Next Web, SitePoint, and Toots. I would like to see, I think that's as seen in type of section with those logos linking to your author page. I think that would be a further credibility enhancer instead of it seems kind of buried here. I mean, you got this big bio. Let's pull that out and highlight it in a as seen in, or, and that's another credibility enhancer. These companies thought you were expertise enough to write articles for their audience. I think that's an additional credibility enhancer that you could work with. Finally, do you call me to action? You do. Right here at the bottom. Let's get to work. Interested in working together. And that goes to your hire page, your contact me page. And then you have another one at the bottom. This goes to the contact page. What I would consider doing, I'd like to see at least 2 call to actions if possible. One you can do like you did. Let's get to work. Contact me. One could be a email newsletter. I send you tips about branding every month or whatever you do if you have one, or you have a free downloadable guide. So enticing people to sign up. And then one thing you might consider is whatever your signature offer. I was actually browsing through your site and found a page where you said, this is my signature offer. That might be the thing you want to highlight as a call to action. So consider those options as well. That way you can have a couple of different kinds of call to actions, possibly 3, but 2 at least. One to get people on your email list, and 1 to either do a free consultation, or 1 to your signature offer. Those are options you could consider as well. So that's what I think about that. I think there's some really good meat in your bio, but because it's all kind of put in 2 long columns, it's just some of the stuff just seems to get buried. Like, for instance, the fact that you had written these websites, and there's no links to them, by the way. I'm not sure if that's one by purpose or not, on purpose or not. I would consider linking to those so people could go look a little bit more. But again, I would pull that out and use it as a credibility enhancer. And not only that, but you could actually put that below here. And so you have your testimonials up there. I don't think you have to move that. Then below the bio section, you could have, like, as seen here, if all the different places around the web that you have been involved, that you've been featured either or written a blog post. Those kind of things would be helpful. And again, on the call to actions, I would look at least 1 more call to action. Try to get someone on your email list if you have one. If you don't, consider it. That way you have some things to offer. Another thing you could do is you have your insights page, which I think is more of a blog. You might put 2 or 3 of your best articles at the bottom with links to kind of get people another place to go. So those are things you can do, I think. But really good design. I like it. I like how you have designed the page. The layout's minimal. It's complimentary, and it's not overwhelming. So those things are good. Hopefully the suggestions are good. Things that you can take advantage of. If you have any questions, feel free to ping me on Twitter, and we can chat further about it. For everyone else who's listening to the About Page Teardown, I will put a link to the major About Page article that I have, which you can also download the About Page framework for free, and it's on that page. So again, this is another episode of the About Page Teardown. I'm Todd with Copy Flight, and hope you guys have a great day.